you are more than welcome to this, another episode of the Coffee at 11 show, brought to you by Wigwam Global. Delighted to have you all here, and in particular I'd like to welcome our very special guest this morning, Mr. Niall Kelly. And Niall, you might just pop in and say a quick hello, and then I'll introduce you. And if you have a coffee mug, cheers us with a coffee mug.
Good morning, and thank you, Eamon. That was brilliant. I got a job with the Department of Transport and Power in the Coast radio station down Valentia Island. So we're living down there, and I'd got married, and we were due to go to town, which meant you went to Carsavine, but you went by the ferry because the bridge wasn't open at that stage. And our 2-year-old was doing the usual 2-year-old stuff, while my wife was checking out with our friends, was there anything they needed in town? And he kicked off his shoe, so I bent over to put the shoe back on and went to a new planet. I could not believe the pain. And in my stupidity, I made my way up the stairs and got onto the bed, and the pain increased, and I got myself off the bed, and then I realized you can't go down the stairs bent over double. So I wisely turned and crawled down on my hands and knees. And then I realized, actually, you know, when you're crying bent over, your tears just fall on the floor. My wife and my friend arrived back, and they held each other up laughing at my predicament. So I quickly learned, you know, there's no sympathy for back pain. And I ended up with getting out to the doctor, and it was really interesting going into his clinic, and there were lots of people in there waiting to see him, and I'm still bent over double, and all I could see was feet parting to allow me go through. And I entered into a whole new ritual in my life, which was drop your trousers, get a shot in the ass, and wait till your leg goes numb. And he brought me into his kitchen and put me lying on the floor in front of his range, and his ginormous Labrador took offense to that and lay on top of me because that was clearly his spot.
I would like to ask you, Niall, if I may, 2 quick things. Number one, what are you personally taking with you from COVID that you're not letting go of?
Well, actually, it has been probably one of the most creative times of my life. I found myself making 3 videos, which I put up on YouTube around this, and almost died with the realization that I still haven't gotten over choking at the age of 10 when I was trying to recite the Lake Isle of Innisfree. And it still comes back and haunts me. Every time I looked at the camera, I couldn't remember my name, so I had to get beyond that. And then I found great pleasure in reading stories from my granddaughter.
Lovely.
And working then with the chronic pain people, I designed a program for them, and then bringing this on. So it's probably more work in the last year than I've done for quite a while. Like going out to UL was just fantastic. I had the students, they would come in and they would all sing for me. I mean, how bad a job is that?
I love it. Yes, indeed.
I would just work with them and say things, you know, well, do you realize what you're doing here with your neck? Or do you realize what you're doing with your shoulders or your ribs? And they're saying, well, that's the way my teacher trained me to breathe. And you're going, oh shit, we're in trouble here. And you say, well, let's experiment and try this. And they go, wow, why didn't I know that? And it's all about just being aware of what we're doing and releasing it.
That is wonderful stuff. And then the second question, we go to Princess Shelley then, is what would you say to your nearest and dearest, and perhaps the question, or the answer to this one is obvious given who we're talking with, if they are feeling under pressure because of COVID, what would you recommend that they do?
Well, I suppose it's probably sounds trite, but I think people are getting too much information about it. I don't need to know that they're having a row with AstraZeneca. I don't need to know that Ursula von der Leyen is about to declare war on Europe or on the UK or on Ireland or on the north of Ireland. You know, life went on perfectly. When I was at sea, you left a port. You were out at sea for 20 days. You found the port you were going to with the talents of the navigators. And you might send one message saying, we're here, we expect to be there at 3 o'clock on Wednesday. And that was it. Now, it's just overload. It's ridiculous. So people have to recognize that there's just way too much information in the system, filter it out and pay attention to what's real for them. And what's real for them is understanding their reactions to these stressors and find ways of dealing with it.